Oh, and Shar, at the beginning, when I come on the beginning, I want it to be gallery view for, I mean, not for Facebook Live, not share, because I want to do a kind of energy thing where we look at each other and try to connect.
So I'll just pin you for my feed, and then everybody else can do whatever they want, right?
Yeah, I'm going to tell them to go to gallery view if they're not
So
there yet.
okay, in a nutshell, so because I was asking that, so after Aaron and Dan, after Soul Pajamas, then I go to you full screen,
Yep.
and then you're gonna let me know when you want me to share again and show those pictures. Yeah.
Yes.
Got it.
Exactly.
Okay, now it might not be as seamless as it sounds because there's a lot of moving parts.
It's going to be seamless.
Okay, girly. All right. And one more thing, I've got to go live on Facebook in 5, 4.
Are we ready? Is Nam Shakti going to?
Well, I'm not ready. I'm just saying that. Go live now.
Good morning, everyone.
Not yet. Oh, hi.
Not yet.
I'm like, oh my God. Is she going?
Say
is she doing it? Oh, God.
Good afternoon.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm good.
Good morning.
Drinking my healthy juice.
All right, and we are ready. If you're ready, I'm ready. I don't know. Are we good?
We're ready.
Nam Shakti. It's not quite 11 yet.
What time is it?
I have 10:59, but.
All right, talk amongst yourselves.
We should play some music at the beginning.
Okay, Dan and Aaron, go for it.
Maybe. Shar, I'm going to mute you, okay?
Please.
Did she mute me?
Oh, it's a butterfly.
As long as it's
Look,
it's
happy.
Let me know when we're live, please.
Someone tell her.
Okay, thank you. And welcome to Centers for Spiritual Living, Leesburg. I am Nam Shakti, and I am one of your practitioners. And our theme for the year of 2020 Spiritual Vision this month, our focus is honoring the Divine Feminine. And right now we create our sacred space and set our intentions of deepening into our awareness and practice of these 5 pillars by creating this altar and lighting the candles. In honoring our International Day of Women and in celebration of the Divine Feminine, our pillars are represented by the Divine Feminine, which are women today. The first pillar is study, represented by the divine quality of light and the color yellow and the work of Emma Curtis Hopkins, known as the teacher of the teachers in the New Thought. Her teaching reminds us to use the power of our mind in creating our reality. And the next pillar is prayer, represented by the divine quality of power and the healing color green and the symbol of Kuan Yin. In China, Kuan Yin is considered the bodhisattva of compassion, who listens in response to the cries of all beings. She is omnipresent, for in the land of the universe there's no place where she does not manifest herself. And her wondrous compassion everywhere poured spiritual rain like nectar everywhere while quenching the flames of distress. And the blue candle represents the pillar of meditation and the divine quality of peace. Our symbol is Tara. The Tibetan name Tara means both star and tear. Mahayana Buddhists worship the Divine Mother as Tara, who is said to have been born out of one of the tears of Buddha of compassion that fell to the earth. She offers liberation and illumination in our everyday life. And the fourth pillar is circulation and the divine quality of life, represented by the red candle. The symbol for us is Lakshmi, the Hindu goddess of prosperity, life, and fertility. We know that the great law of circulation works in our lives. As we give, so shall we receive. And the white candle represents the fifth pillar of service and the divine quality of love, represented by Mother Mary. Representing the nurturing mother energy, this candle is lit as a call to be of service to our world, seen through the eyes of love. Let us close our eyes now. As we bless this space and our time together, as we weave each of these pillars of spiritual living into our service today, may they deepen our spiritual practices of study, prayer, meditation, circulation, and service, expanding our minds and heart to the 5 divine qualities of light, power, peace, life, and love. We also bless everyone who made our service today, everyone that attended our Zoom call, and everyone that's watching us live on Facebook. And with special gratitude for our beautiful space. May the energy of love that is generated here bless everyone abundantly. And so it is.
Awesome.
And while we are in the space of blessings, it is our time for us to share a prayer, request, or a celebration. You can unmute yourself when you're on a Zoom call. And if you're watching us live, just speak it out loud and just know that that divine energy is with you as we do this prayer, that you are included.
I want to put in a prayer request for all the medical personnel across our country who are working so hard, so diligently. I spoke to my son yesterday. He's working at a hospital, and he told me that his job yesterday was handing out a mask to each person as they arrived for their shift, 1 mask for the day. So just praying for all those who are working so hard against all odds and limited supplies.
Yes. Okay.
This is Renee. I'd like to say something. I just wanted to thank everybody who prayed for my son to make it across the country this week from Colorado. And it took him 3 days to drive it, but he did so safely, and he's back at home now. And so far, it looks like we're all doing well. So I just wanted to thank thank you for all the prayers.
Yes, thank you.
And if you haven't had a chance and you wanted to, you can put a name or a prayer request in the chat. And also if you're on Facebook Live, you can do that as well. Put your prayer in the chat, and we'll continue to pray for all these people throughout the week.
I have a appreciation for my lovely wife that's been keeping it together here around the house with all of this madness, and just appreciating her for all that she does.
Beautiful, thank you. Okay, so let's just take a really deep breath in and acknowledge that breath of life force is coming through us, knowing that that breath is God, that is coming through every cell of our body. So we acknowledge this breath that is God. We know that there's only one divine power, one divine essence, one truth, one God that is here right now. It shows itself in the grass, in the sky, in the trees. It's forever unfolding all around us. As I know this, I know that every part of my being, it is one with this divine essence of love, of truth, of power, that I'm one, that I am that I am. As I know this, I know that every individual that is in this call and watching us is that as well. That we are all the presence of God, and that God is vibrating in every part of our bodies, of our souls, every part of our system. That we are one with God. As I know that every prayer that was spoken out loud and was not spoken, it is done. It is heard. It is healed. Every celebration, knowing that everything is perfect in the mind of God and everything's unfolding in divine order, divine guidance, the health, healing, wholeness, it's happening right now. Where we are at, wholeness, healing, health, vitality, it's unfolding itself in every part of our being. I know this to be the only truth, because this is the only truth. As I am in a state of gratitude, I'm so grateful. I am so, so, so grateful. Grateful, grateful. As I let my word into the law, knowing that even before I spoke, it was done. I surrender. I let go. And I let God, and I let it be, and so it is. Amen. Amen. And now I pass it on to our beautiful music for the day, Soul Pajamas.
Thank you.
Thanks. So just know that you should sing along out loud. Don't worry if you're out of tune, because no one can hear you. So it's so good for your body to feel the vibrations of when you sing. So just sing it out, baby. Oh, look at all those darling people there. God is all there is in my heart, and all of my being. Even when the hour is dark, God is all there is. God is all there is in my mind, and all of creation, all that we're hoping to find. God is all there is. God in you, God in me, God in everything. All is well, all is good. Let the angels sing, let the angels sing. God is all there is in the world. One infinite spirit. Open up your mind to the truth. God is all there is. God in you, God in me, God in everything, everything. All is well, all is good. remember, even when the hour is dark, God is all there is. Even when the hour is dark, God is all there is. All right, so now here's the part where we need to hear you sing really loud. I mean, I really need to hear you sing loud. We're going to do it all together. God is all there is. God is all there is. Sing it to me, people. God is all there is. Don't you know it's true that God is all there is? Nothing's the matter when you know that
God is all there is.
There's no illness, there's no sorrow in the world, because that's true that God is all there is. Make it louder. Make it louder. God is all there is. Yeah, one more time. God is all there is. Yeah. Good singing.
Yay! If you're on Facebook Live, this is where the hearts all go up and all the happy faces. So I'm Reverend Sunday Cote. I'm so grateful that we have this opportunity to be together. And I want to do something I usually do in my online classes, just to kind of help us connect. Since, you know, in our live community, when we're all in person, we get to hug, we get to look at each other, we get to see each other, acknowledge each other. And since we're all online, I want to have that opportunity as well. So if you're on our Zoom call right now, if you can just make sure that you're on gallery view, and we do that as you go up to the right top and you click that little toggle, it's the speaker view or gallery view, so that we see each other. If you're on Facebook Live or on YouTube, just bear with us for a moment, and you can imagine, if you're somebody that usually comes to our service, you know all of us, you can imagine us in your mind. If you have a community that you usually go to that you're not able to go to, you can imagine those people in your minds, or even just family or people that you're, you know, your coworkers or people that you're not seeing every day. And we just want to feel into to seeing everybody. And so if you're on Zoom right now, you can see all our lovely faces. And if you're off camera and you want to be seen, this is the time to do it. And if you're not, that's okay too, because we just know and love you. And I just want to take a moment and even if you're not making eye contact, just go to each of the little squares and just love them, acknowledge them, feel the energy of us all being together. And again, if you're on Facebook or YouTube, just feel it into your own heart and connect. Just feeling the energy of our larger group, a larger connection. It's always amazing how we can feel that across all the time zones and the energy, and just taking that time to really connect with each other. So thank you for that. All right. So Meister Eckhart said that what happens to another, whether it be joy or sorrow, happens to me. And most mystics really emphasize the need for joy, even in times of challenge, the need of laughter and fun and silliness. And so with that in mind, I'm sure you've seen these before, but Charlene's going to share a couple of slides on our share screen. And this is kind of the humor that comes out of the worldwide pandemic. And so we're going to see this first one. He's getting it. So you've seen this one, right? It's for your own good. You have to stop touching your face, right? We're all realizing how much we touch our face. And so this is like that humor of just like, So, and the next slide, another one here, looking at the map for weekend travel ideas, since we're all inside. And then the last one, my favorite, is you think you have it hard. Try to be a Hindu goddess right now, flashing their hands. I just really wanted to start with that, just that heart connection and a little levity as we move through our service today. And so, hold on a second, I want to see you guys. All right, so we're wrapping up the series today on honoring the divine feminine in all things. And last week, Charlene talked about this nurturing aspect of the divine and the strength that it has, the strength of nurturing. And I think we've seen that so much in this challenging time about how that energy of nurturing comes forward. And so I changed my talk. I decided not to go with the theme that we had, but I changed my talk to this idea of sheltering in place, because that's a term we've been hearing, sheltering in place, coming home to the divine. And so, we've heard this has become a much more common phrase over the last few years. And when we hear it, I don't know about you, but I always get that moment of tension of, uh-oh, what's happening? Some weather event is happening, or there's a school closing, or, there's some danger happening. And so when we hear that shelter in place, it can kind of, create some tension for us. And so some of the states have changed it to, staying safe at home, which is also maybe a little bit softer term. But I want to just reframe that phrase and begin to think of it as this really great spiritual practice, that what is this place within that we find shelter? When we say shelter in place, there's a place within us that is calm and loved and peaceful and well cared for. And so we can begin to think of that, of how do we tune in? And this is such a divine feminine quality, right? Because the home, the feminine is usually the aspect that is creating the nurturing, loving home. And so Dr. Holmes, in the very beginning of our textbooks in Science of Mind, there's this poem, and it starts out, "Peace be unto thee, stranger. Enter and be not afraid. I have left the gate open, and thou art welcome to my home. There is room in my house for all. I have swept the hearth and lighted the fire. The room is warm and cheerful, and you will find comfort and rest within. The table is laid, and the fruits of life are spread before thee. The wine is here also, it sparkles in the light. I have set a chair for you where the sunbeams dance through the shade. Sit and rest and refresh your soul. Eat of the fruit and drink the wine. All is yours, and you are welcome." And I've always loved that that's at the very beginning of our textbook, and that it's addressing the stranger, because oftentimes when we begin to go within, we begin to maybe explore a different idea of what the divine might be, that it feels like we're strangers, like we really, we haven't stopped long enough to really explore and discover who we really are. And so he is saying that all of us are welcome in this place, and that there is abundance and peace and love and beauty as we do this, as we go through this spiritual journey. And so oftentimes though, we look elsewhere, and I kind of see that with with all of us sheltering in place, with all of us, that we're kind of looking around, right? We're looking around for a connection, for wisdom, for whatever it is that we're wanting to experience. And so we sometimes aren't looking in the right place. There's a story of Nasrudin, who's an archetypical wise fool, and he lived in the Middle East over 600 years ago. And there's a story of him outside under a light post, and he's searching for his keys. And his friends come along and they said, "Nasrudin, what are you doing?" He says, "I'm looking for my keys. I lost my keys." And so they looked and looked and looked, and finally one of them said, "Nasrudin, they're not here. Are you sure this is where you lost them?" And he said, "Oh no, I lost them over there in the bushes, but the light is better over here." So sometimes we go to the easiest place, right? We go to the places that we think is where we might find it, but obviously that's futile to be looking someplace that it isn't there. And so this idea of coming home to ourselves, coming home to divine, bringing meaning into what it might mean to being safe at home within our divine essence, safe at home with sheltering in our own place of the divine. Dr. Holmes says that there is a pattern of perfection at the center of your being, which has never been touched by disease or misfortune. Let's take that in again. That is the idea that we really need to be thinking about right now, is that there's a pattern of perfection at the center of your being, which has never been touched by disease or misfortune. Your intellect senses this through intuition. Your imagination fills it by divine right. Your inward consciousness knows it through faith. What you're trying to do is to awaken your whole being to spiritual awareness. What you're trying to do is to awaken your whole being to the spiritual awareness within. So it's powerful for us to go within to remember this truth that there's this divine essence that is perfect within us. And while doing that, we also don't want to do what's called spiritual bypass. Spiritual bypass is a term first coined by psychologist John Welwood in 1984, and it's the use of spiritual practices and beliefs to avoid dealing with our painful feelings, our unresolved wounds, and our developmental needs. It's so easy to do that, especially in times like this where we just want to go straight to the truth and not, you know, if you had a pulse, you've probably felt a little concern or fear or doubt or anger or guilt or, you know, all those feelings that have been coming up the last few weeks around all this. And that's a normal process for us to feel into that. I had one minister friend on her Facebook page, she wrote in all caps, "Stay calm." It's like not really helpful, right, to yell at us. So we have to kind of try to not, you know, resist that temptation to just go straight to that, to the truth, even though that's part of what we're doing. We're holding on to that, and yet still allowing the emotions to move through us. You know, Rick Hansen says, emotions need motion. They need motion. And if we move through them and we don't let them get stuck in us, they move through us and we're okay. And so there's a difference between staying calm, that knowingness, the perfection within us, and not acknowledging or allowing ourselves to feel the true emotions that we're having right now. So there's a quote that Dr. Holmes that's kind of going around now, and he says, "To abandon the truth in the time of need is to prove you have never known the truth." Now, I used to really love that quote. And I don't think I like it so much anymore because it feels a little harsh, right? It feels harsh to say that because I think there's an opportunity for us to have doubt in our spiritual journey. There's that it's okay, you know, and a matter of fact, doubt, James Hollis, in his book, Finding Meaning in the Second Half of the Life, he's a Jungian psychologist. He says, you know, doubt is a profound and effective spiritual motivator. Without doubt, no truism is transcended, no new knowledge found, no expansion of the imagination possible. Think about that. If we're so sure, you know, then we never have a chance to expand and to grow. Dr. Holmes talked about us being a philosophy that is open at the top. So we might have these foundational ideas and teachings, but he knew that new people were going to come along and have new ideas and new discoveries, and science was going to discover new things, and we were going to continue developing. And so Hollis goes on and says, doubt is unsettling to the ego, and those who are drawn to ideologies that promise the dispelling of doubt by proffering certainties never grow. It is our ego that is so afraid that it needs surety, because that ego is trying to keep us all safe. It wants to have everything perfect and never have any challenge and never have anything going on, but our divine self is so sure in itself that it can allow the uncertainty, the doubt to come forward, because it knows that there's a truth beyond that. There's a truth beyond that. I think it was Galileo that said, and it may not be Galileo, but somebody said that, you know, if science finds out something about our universe that doesn't dispel God, it just means we didn't know enough about God. You know, we just didn't know enough. And so to be able to not be afraid of new things that we find out. And so in that, I think I've changed the saying to abandon your spiritual practice in the time of need is to never have known the importance of spiritual practice. Because it's spiritual practice that creates the resilience within us. It's spiritual practice that brings us back to this sheltering, beautiful, safe home place. It's spiritual practice that if we abandon it in these times of challenge, then we haven't really ever embraced the power and the healing essence of spiritual practice. And so that's what I want to talk about more than anything is how do we continue our spiritual practice, and what does that mean, and how do we move through this time with our spiritual practice. So one of the spiritual practices that I talk about a lot, you know, that I do is mindfulness, this practice of mindfulness in our life, being mindful of where we are, what's going on with us in the moment, you know, bringing ourselves present. You know, I've mentioned the last couple of weeks ago about that when we're in a place of stress, often since we're feeling guilty or regret about what's happened in the past, or we're worrying about what's happening in the future, the best thing we can do is just bring ourselves back into this present moment by allowing ourselves to be physically present, by noticing, looking around, seeing something in our house, in our, you know, that is our present moment, feeling into our senses. What am I seeing? What am I hearing? What am I feeling in this moment? And to name 3 different ways that you're sensing your present moment. Rick Hanson, the Buddhist neuropsychologist, talks about 3 actions that we can take, or 3 things that we can do when we're in a place of stress. And the first one he says is take appropriate action. Take appropriate action, because action can relieve that anxiety. So we don't want to be fearful, but we want to act. You know that you're doing what you can today. What is it that in this moment that you can do? If it eliminates the risk, it might be even a small risk. Do it. Anything is infinitely better than doing nothing if you're feeling anxious. And so, what is it that you're doing to you know? I know we implemented quite a few new washing your hands. We, you know, a lot of cleaning experiences in our house, and I asked for what I needed from my family as far as asking them to wash their hands and to, you know, do the things that we've done to make sure that we can lower some of that stress. So action is such a powerful thing that we can do. The second one is to calm and center yourself. This is again a lot about bringing ourselves back into the present moment. So he says, and this is the breath, right? Long exhalation. So let's all do it right now. Just take a nice step, breathe in. Breathe out. Yes, take another nice deep breath in. One more time. And that really makes a difference, doesn't it? And it makes a difference when we do it together. We connect and do that together. Feel your body, what's going on inside your body. Ground yourself to the earth. You know, we can go outside, we can be in nature. Look for others who care about you. You know, I've had some beautiful connections with people that I haven't talked to in a long time. Just reconnecting with people who I love and care about, and caring for ourselves. And one of the things that has helped me in this is just a different perspective about the coronavirus. So a virus is actually not alive. It doesn't fit the criteria of some living thing. It can't reproduce by itself, being one thing. It's actually inert. It's an inert molecule that has these little sticky things on it. And it can just stay inert. It has no consciousness. It has no desire to live. It's not personal. It's just a little inert matter. And what happens is that we touch it, it gets into our cells, and it moves into our cells because it has DNA and RNA matter. Our DNA takes it and decides that that's something that needs to replicate. So it's our cells that replicate it, that can make it continue to grow, which then bursts our cell, and destroys it and goes out. But it's still our cells that are replicating it and moving it forward. And for me, this is, it's such a great analogy about how we, in our life, that the things that people think, what they think about us, the judgments, all those things around the world aren't what hurt us. It's when we take it in and allow it to replicate within us a new idea or a new belief system. And so what is so helpful for us to know right now is that our bodies they're so amazing, they're so powerful, and we have ways to finally figure out how to build immunity to this. But it was helpful for me to not put a lot of personality on this virus. It's not a real thing. It's just a little thing, and it doesn't have anything. It's not out to get us. and it's not actually even out to survive or to stay alive. So the third thing that Rick Hansen says is to tend and befriend. So tending to ourselves, loving ourselves, caring for ourselves, and befriending ourselves and others. You know, everybody is in so much stress. We all kind of do stupid things when we're under stress. And so to be a little bit more allowing of people that are under stress, people that are you know, maybe don't have the resources that we have in this moment, and to have compassion for each other. So compassion for me, and Aaron had asked this yesterday, compassion is a sign of hope for me, that's where hope comes from. When we have compassion for ourselves, when we realize that we can adjust to new normals in our lives, to not judge ourselves when we have those doubts, when we have those fears, to just stop in the moment and acknowledge that and give ourselves our own hug, you know. And you know, you can do that. You can just hug yourself, place your hand over your heart, just for now, and just say, you know, I understand, I hear you, I love you. You know, create that self-compassion, and do that several times a day. And then having compassion for others and looking for that compassion. You know, this last week I was so touched because you know, Robert had been sick, and we couldn't get tested, so we weren't sure whether it was coronavirus. So we were just treating it like that and isolating, and I was wiping everything down, but I was running out of sanitizer, disinfectant, and I went to 3 different stores and couldn't find any. And so I just, on our little neighborhood Facebook page, I just typed in, you know, and said, my husband's sick. I have a 90-year-old mother in the house. I'm trying to make sure she's staying safe, and we're out of wipes. And you know, does anybody have extra to share? Within 1 minute, I had a doorbell and a bottle of Clorox on my step. I had another, you know, give me wipes. I had our own Tamara loan me an air mattress so I could isolate, you know, in my office. And it was so touching. It made me cry that so quickly people have compassion and love and step out. Our next door neighbor's little boy is turning 5 today, and they're going to have you know, he was going to have a big birthday party. He can't have a birthday party. And so at 5 o'clock today, all his friends are going to drive by the house and stop and honk and sing happy birthday. And, you know, I said, I'm going to go out on my porch at 5 o'clock and sing happy birthday to little Brian. And we have teachers here. I've seen the parade of teachers going through the neighborhoods, waving at their students from their cars. I mean, you know, it goes back to what Fred Rogers has said, you know, in times of stress, look for the helpers, look for the compassion, look for those who are making a difference, and how easy it is for us to do these things, to reach out in compassion and love. In his book, Tribe, on homecoming and belonging, Sebastian Junger opens with a story about a hitchhiker crossing the country and meeting a man on the road who asks him if he has any food. And thinking it is a prelude to a robbery, Junger told him, oh, just a little cheese, though his backpack was filled with food. And this man said, well, you can't get to California on just a little cheese. And the stranger went over to his car where he was living, and he pulled out his lunchbox, and he gave him the content of his lunchbox. And he said, I saw you from town and just wanted to make sure you were okay. And Junger said he thought about this man for the rest of his life, saying he'd been generous, yes, but lots of people are generous. What made him different was the fact that he'd taken responsibility for me. He'd taken responsibility for me. And this goes back to this whole idea of honoring the divine feminine. That divine feminine, that aspect of God, is the nurturing, caring part that takes responsibility for us, that moves out in a nurturing way, in a loving way. And the hope that comes from this compassion is that's the only way we survive, is by taking care of each other. In his book, The Best Possible Care, Dr. Ira Byock tells a story. He says, anthropologist Margaret Mead was asked by a student what she considered was the first sign of civilization and culture. The students expected me to talk about fish hooks or clay pots or grinding stones, the tools that we use. But instead, Mead said that the first sign of civilization in an ancient culture was a femur, a thigh bone that had been broken and healed. Mead explained that the animal kingdom, if you break your leg, you die. You can't run from danger. You can't get to the river for a drink or hunt food. You're just meat for prowling beasts. So no animal survives a broken leg long enough for the bone to heal. A broken bone that has healed is evidence that someone has taken time to stay with the one who fell, has bound up the wound, has carried the person to safety, and has tended the person through recovery. Helping someone else through difficulty is where civilization starts, Mead said. We are at our best when we serve each other. Be civilized. Be civilized. So that's a powerful message to us. That's how we survive. It's by being civilized, by nurturing, by caring, by bringing ourselves together. And we've seen it so beautifully over the last few months, not just here in the United States, but all over the world. So I want to end with this affirmation, and we're going to say this affirmation later today, but I'm just going to bring it into your awareness as we move into a meditation. And we're going to do a loving kindness meditation. And so if you'd like, could be also a time as we're going into meditation, is to type in names of people you want to send this loving energy to. And you can do this on Facebook, you can do it in our Zoom, and then we can all just scroll over and we'll see these names and we'll send love to all the people that we're loving in this moment. And so as you do that, once you do that, you can close your eyes and think of this affirmation as we move into this loving kindness meditation. So this is from Dr. Holmes. I am united with all. I'm one with the eternal light itself. The presence of spirit within me blesses everyone I meet, tends to heal everything I touch, brings gladness into the life of everyone I contact. Therefore, I'm a blessing to myself, to humankind, and into the day in which I live. We are living in such amazing times, and we are here for that. We are here to be the loving, healing presence and essence and nurturing, compassionate selves as we move through to a new order, to a new experience. And so just take that in, and when you're ready, you can close your eyes. And just allow yourself to breathe down into your heart space. And take a breath in and then breathe down into your body, into your heart space, and just allow yourself to become completely present in your body. If you can, just call forth something that you absolutely love in the world. Something that it could be a person, a pet, a place, something that you just look at and just feel in your heart, this sense of overwhelming, unconditional love. And just allow that energy to move from your heart throughout your whole being. Just absorb it. Allow it to really express within your being. And then as you feel that love, just turn that towards yourself and just say, either out loud or silently after me, may I be filled with loving kindness.
May I be filled with loving kindness.
May I be well.
May I be well.
May I be peaceful and at ease.
May I be peaceful and at ease.
May I be happy.
May I be happy.
Just take a breath in. And now bring into your awareness in front of you in your mind's eye somebody that you love, a family member or several family members, loved ones, people that you find easy to love. And in your mind's eye, say to them, may you be filled with loving kindness.
May you be filled with loving kindness.
May you be well.
May you be well.
May you be peaceful and at ease.
Peaceful and at ease.
May you be happy.
May you be happy.
And now let's just expand that awareness and think of all the helpers right now, all the doctors and the nurses and the healthcare providers, the grocery clerks, the mail people, the first responders, all the helpers. And just take them into your heart as you say, may you be filled with loving kindness.
May you be filled with loving kindness.
May you be well.
May you be well.
May you be peaceful
May you be
and at
peaceful
ease.
and at ease.
May you be happy.
May you be happy.
And take a moment to think of somebody that, maybe you're just indifferent to. You don't know them. It could be a neighbor down the road. It could be someone that is out in the world right now. And feel a connection to each person that might be having their own challenges, their own struggle. And say to them, may you be filled with loving kindness.
May you be filled with loving
May you be well.
May you be well.
May you be peaceful
May
and
you
at
be
ease.
peaceful and at ease.
May you be happy.
May you be happy.
Now let us just expand that meditation to see our beautiful globe, something that's united now in a way that it has never been united before. And you might find your home, your state, another country. But let's just together know the truth. May we be filled with loving kindness.
May we be filled with loving
May we be well.
May we be well.
May we be peaceful and at ease.
Peaceful and at ease.
And may we be happy.
May we be happy.
And as we take this back into our hearts right now, coming back to this present moment, knowing that our love and our words are spreading loving kindness throughout our world, acknowledging that divine presence that moves through all things, that there is a place within that knows no illness, no misfortune, no disease. It is a beautiful essence within that is the divine. It is expression of love and peace and joy and wholeness and health. It is what we truly are. And it's in this very moment that I claim this for myself, that I know this truth. And because I can know it for myself, that I am an expression of God, I can know it for each person within the sound of my voice. That there is power and presence within each of us, within you. There's a divine home to come home to allow, to lift us up, to bring us peace, to know our vitality and our health as we move through this time. I know that as we each express and claim this divine truth, we honor our humanness, or we honor our feelings and our expression, and we give love to ourselves and others at this time. So it's with great joy that I know this truth, that I speak it with joy and compassion and love. And I release this word into that law that is already working for us so beautifully, and already see the demonstration and await to see more of that love, that compassion, that perfection, that health, and that wholeness spread out across our world. For this, I am so, so grateful. So grateful. And we know this together by saying, and so it is. And so we let it be. And Dan and Aaron are going to sing for us again.
Found a love to last a lifetime, more than enough to throw out a lifeline, spread it around, so we can all find love, prayer, laughter, and gratitude. Good for the soul, love, prayer, laughter, to laugh, give over completely, finding the gap. The joke is on me. I laugh at myself because all I see is love, prayer, laughter, and gratitude. Good for the soul, love, prayer, laughter, and gratitude. That's how I roll. Spring, summer, and fall. To you I am grateful. For winter and all. Ever so thankful. Blessings are gold. And I give you a mantle of love, prayer, laughter, and gratitude. Good for the soul, love, prayer, laughter, and gratitude. That's how I roll, love, prayer, laughter, and gratitude. Good for the soul, love, prayer, laughter, and gratitude. That's how I roll.
Right.
Who is that singing duck?
That's not a duck. That's
I thought it was a duck.
yes. What's his name from Frozen?
Oh, right.
All right. So let's say our vision statement. I don't know if we should try to unmute and do this. Maybe we should try that and see how it sounds. I'm going to unmute everybody so you can say it out loud, okay? All right. Maybe I won't. Okay, I mute you guys. All right. So to awaken our inherent oneness
with
the divine source, our planet, and each other, and then act knowing that oneness matters. So it is. So it wasn't too bad. Having everybody on. All right, so this is our time of sharing of our gifts, and you know, we continue to have expenses as we go about our business as a community, and so we just really appreciate you continuing sharing your love and your ties with us. And so the donation, you can go to our website and donate there, but you can also just text the amount. You just put in the dollar number, and then it'll come back and ask you for information if it's the first time you've done it. And so I wanted us to say this prayer, this affirmation together, which is just a powerful thing for us to know as we go forward, that we're a blessing of this time, that we're a healing presence. And so the presence, say this with me. The presence of spirit within me blesses everyone I meet, tends to heal everything I touch, brings gladness into the life of everyone I contact. Therefore, I am a blessing to myself, to humankind, and to the day in which I live. And so it is. And Dan and Aaron are going to sing for us again, and we can sing this with them. There's only love.
In this moment, in this place, I remember who I am. When all fear and worry fall away from me, I open my eyes and see there is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only
it seems I've lost my way. When I go inside and quiet my mind, I can hear Spirit gently say, there is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love will set us free. There is only love.
Thank you. So a wonderful thing for us to remember. So some announcements. I have my new online class starting, The Power of Your Word. And if you want to take that class, just even if you don't have the prerequisite, just reach out to me and we'll make it work out if you want to take it. It's such a great opportunity to stay connected, to practice. And if you have taken the foundations or the Beyond Limits, this is a next level class to take to kind of hone in the power of your word, hone in that spiritual practice. I don't have a slide for this, but I also am teaching an online course on how to be an online education teacher through Centers for Spiritual Living. You can go to csl.org under online education. If anybody is interested in honing those skills at this time, that's a great class to take as well. And our practitioners are really offering some beautiful gifts, weekly meditations, either on Tuesday mornings or Thursday mornings at 9, usually about half an hour. And they both have a focus that they're doing, but they do give you some techniques and tools for meditation, and also do prayer requests and do some spiritual mind training for you as well. So take advantage of that. It's the same Zoom link that you got here, or you can go to our website at cslleesburg.org and click on the Zoom link to get into that on Tuesdays and Thursdays mornings. And this is our time of our pearls. This is where if you have something you would like to share about a pearl that you're taking with you, if you're on Facebook, you can type it into the comments, and either Nam Shakti or Charlene can read it, or you can type it into the Zoom chat, or you can speak it out loud if you want to unmute yourself. This is also time if you are visiting us. We had a couple of visitors today. One was Robert's brother, William from Hawaii. So he said he had to go back to sleep because it's 5 hours earlier there, or 6 hours, whatever it is. But he joined us, and so if you're here for the first time and you want to introduce yourself, and that's great, you can do that now. If you don't want to, that's fine as well. And so this is our time of sharing our pearls. If anybody would like to share, and if Shar or Nam want to read them out, they can do that as well.
Hey, this is Charlene. I don't want to read anything out, but I do want to say thank you so much for your talk today. There were two things that stuck out really, really clearly to me. One was that we have a divine pattern that is perfect, that is there in the center of our being. And I like this pattern of perfection better than the other way it was said to me, which didn't really. This is to me, we are inside, we have, like, it's our nature to just be perfection, and it's the other stuff we put on it that we can then take off to go back to perfection. The other one was emotions need motion. I love it. Yes, because every time when I'm all caught up in my head, if I just do something, whether it's a workout or just a dance or something, I feel so much better. One more thing, Jerry Fitzgerald was on. She was watching us on Facebook. She said, hey. She might be gone by now, but she says, hey, next time she'll join us on Zoom. All right. Thank you, Rev. Going back on mute.
And Tamara saying it's our cells that replicate the virus, so we need to show love and encouragement to our cells. That's true, yes. Anyone else?
Hold on. Nicole's online. She said she feels more connected and grounded after spending time with all of us. So, hey, Nicole.
Hey.
They're all saying hey.
Anything else?
Great.
Yes.
I love the idea that you turned shelter in place around and made it a little friendlier and less scary.
And thanks for talking about compassion. That's always a tough one when things get scary, you know?
Okay. All right, so we're going to sing a song. This has got hand motion, so that's our Send Our Love. We're going to sing a little different song, so you can join along. And if you are on Zoom, please stay afterwards for a little conversation and chat and connection. And if you're on Facebook and you want to join us, you can just click on that Zoom link on our Facebook page and come and see everybody. And we're just going to have a little talk time afterwards for anybody that wants to hang out for a little while. All right, Dan and Aaron, thank you for your music. Yay. And take it away.
I send my love over the mountains. I send my love over the sea. I send my love into the heavens, and it comes back to me. Joy. I send my joy over the mountains. I send my joy over the sea. I send my joy into the heavens, and it returns to me. This is the big one. I send my heart over the mountains. I send my heart over the sea. I send my heart into the heavens, and it returns to me. I send my peace over the mountains. I send my peace over the sea. I send my peace into the heavens, and it returns to me.
Thank you. All right, so you can take off the slide, Shar. We can just look at our
Okay.
look at everybody so we can send some love to people. All right, so place your hand over your heart. Say out loud, I am love.
I am love.
And look at everybody, anybody that you can see, and say, you're love.
You're
You are love.
Oh, yeah.
And up in there, it's all love. And we do love sprinkles around here. So love sprinkles to everybody. Thank you for being here. Love you guys. And stick around to share a little talk. I think we're off live. Charlene can tell us when we're off live.
One moment.